We're live in the pits of Metal Chaos. It's your host Dave, and I got a line with me. Special guest Bryce Banner, who's in guitars from Silver Talon. How's it going, Bryce?
Hey, doing well. How are you?
I'm good, man. So tell us a little history about Silver Talon. I know you and a couple other guys were from Spellcasters.
Yeah. So Spellcaster, as you may or may not know, we disbanded in I don't know, March or April of 2017. And then it kind of turned into a big sort of blow-up confrontation thing with our singer. So he kind of just quit and walked out one practice, and the rest of us are sort of just left saying to ourselves, well, what the fuck do we do now?
Yeah.
So the decision was made to essentially, change the name. We would become something different than Spellcaster, and, we'd find a new singer and carry on. So it was sort of like a rebranding, if you will, in the beginning, but it's a totally different band. So yeah, then we basically put out a kind of a casting call for as many vocalists as we could find, and Wyatt answered the call, and we've been working with him ever since, and just released our first EP a couple weeks ago. So yeah, then we're hitting the road next month with a band from Croatia called Speed Claw. So we're going full force on the Silver Talon train now.
Then you guys just finished your tour, right, with Unleashed Archers and Striker?
We just did a couple dates on that one. We didn't do the full tour. That would have been awesome because I heard that tour was great, and the shows that we played with them were amazing. But yeah, it was just a couple dates in the Northwest.
Now I know you guys are coming to Chicago next month. What's the date on the Chicago gig?
Let me pull up my notes here. We shall see. Sorry, 1 second. You would think I would have all this stuff memorized, but unfortunately I don't. Let's see. So it's going to be November 13th at Redmond's Pub, I believe, unless I got changed. I don't really know.
I remember seeing you guys at Frank's Power Plant.
You mean Spellcaster?
Yeah.
As Spellcaster.
Yeah, we played there a couple times. I think the last time we played there was with Striker. Yeah, that was a fun show.
What year? 2016?
What was that, 2016?
Yes, yeah, that was 2016.
I remember that. I got a lot of pictures.
Yeah, it was a crazy time because there's you guys gotta hardly any room for that little stage, so you gotta put your mic out on the floor and be in the crowd and everything.
Yeah, it's always an interesting one at Frank's. I like playing there though. It's cool. They always take really good care of us,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great place. Yeah, we're not playing Milwaukee this time around, unfortunately, but we'll be in Chicago, so.
Yeah, you are hitting the Midwest.
Yes, a little bit of the Midwest. Alright, let's see here. Okay, so the venue in Chicago, it looks like it got changed to Livewire Lounge, so.
Livewire.
Yeah, and ironically enough, that is on North Milwaukee Avenue.
Yeah, we know where it is.
Yeah.
So I guess we sort of will be playing Milwaukee? No, I'm just kidding. Milwaukee Avenue.
So what would you consider Silver Talon's power metal?
Yeah, I guess I don't necessarily think about, subgenres or whatever when I'm trying to write music, necessarily, but, yeah, we've kind of fallen pretty squarely, I think, into the power metal camp. And so most of the stuff that we're influenced by is, I guess you would say it's also power metal. I mean, stuff like Sanctuary. I'm really influenced by Symphony X.
Yeah, you kind of figure you'd be influenced by Sanctuary since you covered Battle Angels.
Yeah, that turned out really well. It was a fun cover for sure.
He's 34.
Yeah, it sucks that Worrell passed away, man.
Yeah, it really does. And oddly enough, I mean, he just released an album on Friday. I don't know if you heard that one.
No.
But yeah, it's kind of like his sort of like his last will and testament. I don't know. It's basically what he was working on in Brazil at the time of his passing. So I guess they got enough vocal takes and they were able to put it all together. And it's really kind of weird to listen to, you know, just an album coming out after somebody's already left us, so to speak. But yeah, it's pretty cool. You should check it out.
Yeah, I definitely have to check that one out, man.
Yeah.
So now, what age did you start playing guitar, Bryce?
I started playing bass first, and I think, how old was I? I was like 15 or 16 or something like that. I mean, I kind of started late in regards to, you know, I think when most people start playing guitar, like my friends had all already picked up the guitar, and they were all, you know, pretty amazing, I guess, by my standards at that time. So I picked it up kind of a few years after they did. And yeah, been going on that ever since.
So were you self-taught or you took lessons?
I was self-taught for probably like 8 years. Just kind of struggling. You know, I was able to figure out some stuff and kind of write some songs, and you know, I was in a couple punk bands, doing that sort of thing. But yeah, I couldn't really put it together just kind of on my own because there's a lot of information out there, and not all of it is very easy to understand since we're using all these, like, you know, Greek terms and stuff like that to describe the modes, et cetera, et cetera. So after 8 years, I decided it would be good to get some lessons. So I took lessons with a guy, local guy by the name of Derek Reeder, out in Oregon City, which is just kind of a suburb of Portland. And I took lessons with him for probably like 4 or 5 years or something like that. Yeah, and I think that has had a much bigger impact, I guess, on the guitar player that I am now. So I really, really wish that I would have done that sooner. So anybody who's listening to this and they are picking up guitar, get some lessons. It'll really help you.
And now you're what, like 20-something years old?
I wish.
30?
I'm in my early 30s at this point.
34?
No, not 34. I just turned 32.
See? I was close.
And now you're a shredder.
I try to. I mean, really, I just try to do my best, you know.
Yeah.
I think a lot of guitar players will kind of get maybe a little bit caught up in this sort of like headspace where they gotta just go out and like do something crazy every night or whatever, you know, which is cool. It's good to keep pushing yourself and stuff like that, but you know, gotta just have fun with it. Some people kind of take it a little bit too seriously, you know.
So how did you guys come up with the name Silver Talon?
That was actually suggested by, I believe it was by Dan Cleary from Stryker, the vocalist of Stryker. He had mentioned to Gabe, our bass player,
Right.
also the bass player from Spellcaster. He said something to the tune of, you know, if I ever started another band, I would call it Silver Talon. And I think we just kind of stole that from him. I hope we got permission. I'm not totally sure, but that's the band name.
Well, he didn't say nothing to you. You did a couple shows with him. He didn't say anything, huh?
Yeah, so I think it's cool. I don't think he He didn't say anything like, "Oh, you motherfuckers, you took my band name." I mean, he's already got strikers, so whatever.
Yeah. So who writes all the lyrics in the band?
Mostly, I would say Wyatt is writing 90% of the lyrics. I wrote a little bit. I wrote the chorus to Devil Machine. And then, yeah, we've had just maybe a little bit of input. But, yeah, it's mostly been, hey, here's the song. We got the music written. You kind of just figure out your space to sort of put your vocals and your lyrics in. And, that's been working well.
Now, who writes all the music?
That would be primarily myself. I'm writing, instrumentation-wise, I'm writing, 90% of everything. Gabe had a little bit of input on some of the tracks, so he has a co-writing credit on, I think 3 of the original ones that we did on Devil Machine, Silver Talon, and Warrior's End. And then, vocal melodies, which I guess is still technically music. A lot of that is written by Wyatt. And I think Gabe had a little bit of input on some of the stuff as well. But yeah, guitar riffs, it's all me.
So now, besides Silver Talon and Spellcaster, what other bands have you played in before that?
Man, I was just in kind of like some punk bands, just when I was in high school, and they never really did anything. I would mention the names, but I doubt that anybody's ever heard of them because we maybe played like 3 shows in Portland that were sparsely attended, and then we just kind of jammed, in people's basements and barns and things like that. Never really got out and actually did anything. The only other band that I've been in that's actually, really done something and I guess has maybe a little bit of notoriety, so to speak, in Portland is I have a King Diamond Merciful Fate cover band called Lucifer's Child, and we'll play a show with that, maybe once or twice a year, but it's always really fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like right now, it'd be cool, like around Halloween season to do that.
Yeah, we actually just played one on Friday.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So the singer puts on the King Diamond makeup and all that?
Yeah, he does, but he does he doesn't do like the full King Diamond makeup. He does, if you've ever seen the music video from Family Ghost.
Yeah.
There's that section where King Diamond's like sitting on a throne, and I think he's like eating a freaking like turkey leg or some weird shit like that. But he has the paint on that's like there's no white underneath; it's just the black outlines around his eyes. So he does that version of it.
Yeah, that's cool.
I love King Diamond.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
How many times have you seen King Diamond live?
She said, how many times have you seen King Diamond in concert?
I've seen King Diamond twice. I saw King Diamond actually in 2005, I think. I was like either still in high school or just right out of high school, and I saw that Behemoth was playing a show down the street at this place called the Rosewood Theater in Portland, and so I really wanted to go see Behemoth. Little did I know that King Diamond was the headlining band, and that sort of blew my mind. I think from there I was like 100% devoted to Merciful Fate and King Diamond. So on that tour, he actually played some Merciful Fate stuff also, and it was just so cool and so badass. And then I saw King Diamond again. I want to say in 2014 in Las Vegas. Oddly enough, though, the Portland dates at the Rosewood Theater, I mentioned that because that's actually the first place in the United States that Merciful Fate ever played. Back in like 1984, I think. That was the first stop on their very first North American tour. So, oddly enough, that place kind of has a little bit of a history in the whole King Diamond Merciful Fate mythos, I guess.
And you didn't exist till 2 years later. Diamond and Merciful Fate sound alike?
I mean, yes and no. I think they started to sound more similar when Merciful Fate came back in '93, and they did In the Shadows. And then they did, I think they did Time and a bunch of other albums that I'm not super familiar with the '90s Merciful Fate stuff, to be completely honest. But yeah, they kind of started sounding a little bit more similar to King Diamond at that point. But I think the '80s stuff is super different to me, at least.
Yeah.
Because Merciful Fate, you kind of have a little bit more of like
I'm done.
Man. Oh, you got it cut off.
Call my...
We'll call him back, everyone, whoever's listening.
Hey, what's up? We got disconnected.
Yeah, we lost you. What was the last thing
Yeah.
you said?
I was talking about Merciful Fate and King Diamond. Yeah, so Merciful Fate, to me, kind of sounds like they got a little bit more of like a 70s sort of thing going on.
Okay.
At least in the production and the guitar tone and that kind of stuff. I mean, it's definitely kind of encroaching on the 80s, but the King Diamond stuff is like full-on 80s, you know?
Yeah.
But I guess the similarities would be, of course, King Diamond's vocals, but aside from that, I think the songwriting and the way they sort of arrange stuff is, it's starting to get more Merciful Fate-like if you look at like an album like Them, which has like really kind of weird, sort of almost like proggy song structures and stuff like that. They're not very traditional at all. The Merciful Fate was really very much like that. So yeah, there's tons of differences and tons of similarities, but if you put any of those albums on, I definitely will be able to pick out, what's the King Diamond and what's the Merciful Fate song.
Yeah. So now, how's your hometown fan base?
Our hometown fan base,
Yeah.
it's pretty good. I mean, I look at the metrics on Spotify and things like that, and the songs that we don't have in like an official Spotify playlist or what have you. The number one city that's listening to them is Portland. So, and I think a lot of that's kind of some carryover from Spellcaster. We had a pretty strong fan base here with Spellcaster. So they kind of followed us over to Silver Talon, so that's good. I do think that we need to play in Portland a little bit more often. We're not even playing a Portland show on this upcoming tour that we're doing next month, so that's kind of a bummer, but, we're here, and hopefully we'll be able to kind of make that up and do something for the Portland fans.
Yeah. So now, do you guys have plans to put out a full-length album?
Yeah, we do. I think we should start working on that as soon as we come back from this tour in December. So I got some tracks already written. I got some riffs, all that kind of stuff. So we just got to get together and kind of go over them. And I'll get together with Wyatt, who's my main writing partner, and yeah, we'll kind of go through the motions there and start that whole hell of a process. It's a fun process, but it's a lot of work coming up with 10 new songs or what have you.
You have any songs written yet?
Yeah, they're just demoed, and they don't have vocals, but yeah, we got some stuff that's written. And so I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's going to go over pretty well. We're always trying to kind of push ourselves out of, any sort of comfort zone that we may have been in, so there's a lot of kind of different stuff going on, and the song structures are getting maybe a little bit crazier, a little more influenced by the King Diamond Them sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm really excited.
So now, with the short time this band's been together, have you had any funny or embarrassing moments yet?
We have not. I'm sure that had you asked me maybe like after this tour, I would have a little bit more to say about that. But yeah, nothing funny or embarrassing. We got tons of stuff from the Spellcaster days. Let me think of one that's kind of the craziest. So nothing really on stage, besides being, maybe super drunk or hungover or what have you. And that shit's never fun. But one time we did a tour and we're coming back home and we're stopping off the coast of California. I think in Arcata is where it was. And we got a hotel room for the night. And we decided that it would be cool and very motley crew if we got a hot tub room. So we did. So 5 guys all just chilling in this hot tub in the in like a Motel 6 or whatever it is in middle of nowhere, California. Definitely no chicks, mind you. So we just proceeded to get, we got plastered that night. We got hammered. Me and Gabe, we almost got into a little bout of fisticuffs, if you will, because I think he had put it on his credit card, or somebody had put it on their credit card, and they were really worried about us, trashing the hotel room, because we thought that would be kind of a clever thing to do. It was sort of encroaching on that kind of behavior. So, he got after me, and he's like, man, you need to settle the fuck down, blah, 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 blah. We're really going to screw this up, and, we're going to have to pay for all this shit. And he got really mad, and I didn't take any of that seriously, and I was just like, yeah, whatever, man. Then I proceeded to go out to the hall, and I took a trash can and filled it up with ice. And I ran back in the room, and I dumped the ice bucket on top of him. And that was about too much. I think he tackled me, and that was that. But yeah, that was a fun, weird, crazy night. We woke up in the morning with a bunch of champagne flutes just broken in pieces. There was blood everywhere for some strange reason, and yeah, the motel staff was not too pleased.
Now, did you guys have any crazy moments with the Striker guys on that Striker tour?
Not really. Those guys they're very, very professional. So it was mostly business. We had a lot of really long drives on that one for some weird reason. We later learned that particular tour was booked by a guy who was also a meth dealer. I kid you not. So he, right before we were about to take off, a couple weeks, we're getting a hold of this guy, and we're like, trying to figure out the fine details to make sure everybody's, promoting. They're setting up event pages. The shows are still going on. Everything's confirmed. Yada yada yada. We couldn't get a hold of this guy. So after a couple days of just searching information out about him, I think Tim from Striker sent over a mugshot, and he's like, "Hey guys, this is our booking agent," and he had been arrested for something like manufacturing with the intent to sell methamphetamines, crystal meth and stuff like that. So yeah, that was his side business.
Wow.
So that was really funny. But anyway, my theory is that he put this together with a bunch of really long drives in between each show with the intent to maybe sell us some meth so that we could make it through the drives.
Wow.
Yeah, not working with that guy again for sure.
Wow.
That's fucking crazy, man.
I'd beat his ass.
Yeah.
So
What's that?
No, besides Yngwie Malmsteen, who else are your biggest guitar influences?
Oh man, I would say Andy LaRocque from King Diamond, of course, is a huge one. I think I riff course, I want to say like Michael Schenker, Jason Becker is a huge one. Michael Romeo from Symphony X is massive influence, and Jeff Loomis is another one that's a huge influence to me as well.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
Loomis is a fucking monster shredder, man.
Yeah, he's a super nice guy too. He's awesome. So, and yeah, we got him to lay down a solo on that Battle Angels cover that we did on the EP. So that was really cool to have that all come together.
Oh yeah. What question you got?
You can continue.
Seeing if she had any questions for you.
Okay.
So what's your opinion for the pros and cons of the music business since you've been in the music business?
The pros and the cons. I mean, let me think about the pros first. I mean, it's easier to, I guess, get locked into the cons because, I don't know, sort of what you talk about with everybody when you're shooting the shit. And nobody really talks about the good parts. Ironically enough, I guess we would all seem like a bunch of miserable bastards. But so I mean, let's see. I mean, of course, going out and playing music to a bunch of people that really enjoy what you're doing. I think that's obviously kind of the biggest pro that has sort of pushed everybody to the point of sacrificing so much to make a band situation work and to get out there and actually play and to kind of keep heavy metal going, if you will. And I really can't stress that enough because it really is just all about that. That's just the number one thing, the number one best thing I think about doing this. The fact that you can just be in your bedroom in your underwear or whatever, just coming up with a riff or what have you, and then all of a sudden fast forward maybe to like the next year or whatever, you're playing this in front of a bunch of people and they're all going crazy and they love it. That whole creative process I think is just so satisfying. And then, the cons come in, mostly anything that has anything to do with money or lack thereof is obviously, not, it's not good. Just to be frank, it's pretty difficult and, it does require a lot of sacrifices. So, there's not much money in heavy metal. I mean, there is money to be had, but seems like it is kind of all swallowed up by, the people that are maybe a little bit more established, such as like record labels and stuff like that. These record contracts that are kind of going out these days are sort of crazy. It's like a record label will give you, couple grand and then they basically own you for forever, which is insane and sort of sad. So yeah, that's definitely something that's not good. You got skeevy promoters sometimes. They're skeevy booking agents. Such as the meth dealing booking agent that's going to take on your U.S. tour or whatever. So yeah, I mean, you'll also get some characters that are just a little bit weird, and they got that whole, they'll have that whole like kind of washed up rock star syndrome. You know what I mean? Where they think that they're a little indignant, and they think that the world kind of owes them something, and like, oh, I've been doing this for 30 years at this point. I was there in the 80s, so I'm gonna treat you young guys like shit. Since you've only been doing this for less than 10 years or whatever. So that part of it can kind of suck. But I would say the number one thing is going out there and making something that people are into and that people enjoy, and
So what kind of advice would you give new bands starting out these days?
I would say, basically, I mean, I guess my number one thing is like, try to get into the mindset of, you're basically gonna do everything yourself. And the sooner you realize that, and the sooner you start, understanding that there's a whole lot of legwork. I can't talk. A whole lot of legwork in everything that you do, whether it's writing songs, booking shows, releasing albums, going on tour, whatever. You're gonna have to do a lot of it yourself. Nobody's gonna come along and hold your hand and do it for you. So you really gotta learn a lot of different things, and you gotta become good at a lot of different things. You gotta really have a strong, social media presence. You gotta get out and make connections. You gotta send emails to people. You gotta kind of push your music down the throats of as many people in sort of a position of power, I guess. Gatekeepers, if you will, as you possibly can, because nobody's gonna do it for you. And if they do, and you're relatively unknown, it's usually because they have some sort of weird ulterior motive. So I wouldn't necessarily trust that. And the same thing goes with record labels. I think sometimes some of these record companies can be a little bit predatory in the way that they sort of reach out and try to sign, young bands that maybe don't know anything, and they give them these just terrible, awful fucking record contracts. And the kids think it's cool because it's like, oh, okay, this is a legitimate label that a bunch of bands that I listen to and like are on. So, they go for it, and then it never turns out well. So, yeah, I would say just, do as much of it as you can yourself, and realize that, it's a lot of work, and you're gonna have to put in a lot of time and effort. But if you're willing to do that and willing to go the distance, then it can be done.
Yeah. So, Bryce, how many guitars do you currently own?
Oh man, I mean, not that many. I think I only have 10, to be completely honest. I have 10.
That's a lot. That's compared to more than me.
Well, I mean, man, speaking of Jeff Loomis, I mean, you should see that guy's guitar collection. It's freaking insane. He messages me and shows me all the new shit that he buys, and it's just like, man, it's like, that site, the Music Zoo. He basically has I would say a Music Zoo equivalent of of instruments in his house. Those pictures of just cases lining the wall. I mean, the dude has to have close to 100 guitars. It's insane. They're all really nice. So, 10, I got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, well, he's got that Schecter endorsement, man.
Oh yeah, he's not with Schecter anymore. He's actually he's been playing Jackson's more recently, which is kind of funny because when I met him, he was with Schecter, and then we basically just had a conversation about Jackson's the entire time, and then he started sending me pictures of all the custom Jacksons that he had been buying. And and lo and behold, I guess once it came time to renew that contract with Schecter, he was out. So he's been playing Jackson's.
Yeah, my wife has a Schecter black one.
I just bought it for her.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he just bought it for me because 2 years ago somebody stole my black Ibanez.
That sucks.
And I played Slayer and Metallica with that Ibanez.
Yeah, that's so good.
I was trash.
Yeah.
I can't really do much Slayer with the Schecter. I could do Metallica, but the Slayer, like the Deathskin Mask, Skeleton Society, Jesus Saves, and a couple other songs I play, I can't really pull it off with the Schecter.
Huh? Why is that?
I don't know. It's the Ibanez. Ibanez had a tone to it, and the strings
Gotcha.
were different, and the strings were lined different.
Huh? Interesting.
I know, right?
Well, I think, probably with maybe a little bit different setup, you could probably get the Slayer stuff going for sure.
Yeah. What kind of brands you own? What kind of brand guitar?
I mostly play Jackson and Charvel. And I had some old Kramer stuff, and I got this old little Squire made in Korea Strat that I kind of like. I'll play that.
I seen a Squire at a thrift store for $65. It was a green one.
Yeah, that's a good price.
But
people.
But
Oh, go ahead.
but
I was gonna say, people they kind of like to talk shit about Squires, but
where the fret thing is, the bottom of the fret, where it holds the strings, where you tie up the strings at the bottom,
yeah.
that was broken.
Oh, okay. That's a relatively easy fix.
Yeah. It's not something I know about how to fix. I know how to put strings.
Yeah. A lot of that stuff is just kind of, just sort of slides into place, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people like to talk shit about Squires or whatever, but, with a little bit of a hardware upgrade, if you swap out the hardware, maybe swap out the pickups, those are fine guitars.
Oh yeah, in thrift stores, I see a lot of electric guitars for sale. All the time. And basses, too. Like, shit.
Yeah, that's cool.
I wish I had...
Yeah, Oh, go ahead.
There was this one, Jackson. I wish I had the $500 to buy it.
Oh, man, $500 at the thrift store?
Yeah, for the Jackson. It was like it was an autographed Jackson. I don't
Oh, okay.
who was autographed. It was autographed by a band.
Nice.
Yeah. People.
Yeah,
People.
that's super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife works at a thrift store, so all of the guitars that come in, I kind of get first dibs. So, I got this, maybe about a year and a half ago, she showed me this picture of this really kind of strange Jackson. It's,
Really?
kind of like a dinky model, is what they call their super strat with the bolt-on neck.
Yeah.
But I can't find any information really about it other than, when I was pulling parts off of it, there was all this stuff that was marked as, made in Japan, so, like, okay, it's Japanese, it's gotta be from the early 90s. Other than that, I can't find any info about it, but I got it, and I play it all the time, and
You got it?
it's awesome.
Send me a picture of it, and I'll dig up the information for it.
Okay, yeah.
Send Dave a picture, and I'll dig it up.
Okay, sounds good. I've had it repainted, so don't let the, my green crackle paint job, fool you.
Did you use that green crackle nail polish on it?
No, it's a company called, like, Montana Colors or something, I think is what it's called.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So it's, you paint the undercoat with, like, some kind of crazy color, and then you put on this, like, crackle lacquer.
Yeah.
And then it kind of cracks. It's weird. It's sort of cracked into kind of like, small crackle pieces. So
Yeah.
it almost kind of looks like a snakeskin kind of thing.
I've been thinking about making my own guitar. I have wood in the house. I've been thinking about building my own guitar. Cause I can do things.
Yeah, for an electric, I think it's maybe, a little bit easier than you might think. I think the really intricate, difficult part is like the neck is probably,
Yeah.
you probably want to buy a neck unless you can kind of whittle that out yourself. But yeah.
I got tools. I got saws. I got all that bullshit.
Yeah, give it a go, give it a shot.
Yeah.
As long as your measurements are all good and, everything's
That's
25 and a half inches, I think you're golden.
That's my next project. I've been making wreaths, voodoo dolls. I've been doing all types of art projects lately. That's my next project, the guitar.
So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I want to make me a guitar. I want to make me the triangle-shaped guitar, though.
A triangle-shaped guitar, nice.
Yeah, like a Dean, kind of like a Dean, and paint it like a Dean. Megadeth Peace Cells. Give it that name, Peace Cells.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. So you're trying to do like a flying D, like a Dave Mustaine kind of thing?
Yeah, I had one of those, but I sold it off.
Ah, okay. Gotcha.
I'm looking at them. Dave's showing me your T-shirts. I like them. I like your CD. I like everything. I like your patches. That's cool. I like your design.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you guys got those pins like you had with the Spellcaster.
Yeah, we did.
Last night when we were at the Wrath show in Zion, I was wearing my battle vest with a Spellcaster pin on it.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at it. I was like, oh, Spellcaster.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Who was that? You said you were at Rat?
Wrath.
The local band here they're on the Combat Records now, David Ellefson's label. Wrath, WRATH.
Oh, okay.
They're a thrash metal band.
Oh, is that the Metal Without Mercy? They're the same band?
No.
No. Okay, I'm thinking of something else then. Never mind.
They sing Ripped to Pieces. Ripped into Pieces! They sing
Huh, okay.
Mutants. They just put out a new album too. What was it called, Dave?
Okay.
We got
I'll have to check that out.
We got the shirt.
Yeah, the new album's called Rage on Combat Records.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty good band, man. I've been following them for like 30 years.
Oh, dang, they've been around for that long.
Since I was like 8 years old.
Damn. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I'll check them out.
Yeah, you should. You guys should get together when you guys are out here and play with them.
Yeah,
Band.
definitely always interested in finding new bands to play with.
Like, there's a lot of bands in Wisconsin that you guys played with.
Yes.
How's the Portland metal scene out there? You got a lot of bands out there?
Yeah, it's getting better. It's interesting, I guess, watching it sort of change and kind of morph into a different entity year in, year out. 10 years ago when Spellcaster started, coming up on 10 years ago, I think Spellcaster started in 2009, there weren't really a lot of metal bands. But then, Spellcaster started up, and then I think we had, Excruciator that also started, and, it was kind of like a little speed metal scene going on, and then something happened and everything just sort of tanked, and it all became like this kind of doom metal stuff. I think probably because we had Red Fang, they kind of rose out of that, and then that spawned a bunch of copycat bands, and I think that was kind of the scene in Portland for a little while. So that's died off, and now there's a ton of death metal going on here. The death metal's really taken off. That stuff's becoming pretty popular, pretty big. And then we got a lot of other, like speed metal bands and stuff like that. We got, Toxic Holocaust is now a fully Portland-based band, so they're totally local now. And we also have some other bands like Were Squatch, who are actually the singer, guitar player, and drummer are actually the same guys in Toxic Holocaust. So they're basically just playing like thrash. We have another band called Bewitcher. They just kind of play like Midnight Venom sort of inspired speed metal stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on now. It seems like everybody's kind of starting a new band. We have Leather Bitch, which is the Sebastian, the other guitar player in Silver Talon. That's his kind of like a hair metal, speed metal sort of influence band. Those guys are really fun. And then of course we have Gabe's other band, Idle Hands, which is he's kind of doing like a